Okay, let's try that again. You guys might have to bear with me a bit because this is a weird setup to get this going on Restream. So tell me if audio's not set up right, and we need to move Emmy into the chat. Yep. Okay. But yeah, this is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire for PC. Uh, Most people tend to consider this to be like the worst Harry Potter game of the bunch. I think most people need to take another look at it. It's definitely got some janky bits to it. The controls are pretty awful if you're playing on a keyboard, but there's a lot of neat and interesting stuff about this run. Uh, we don't have Emmy's name on stream, so I don't know if there's any way we can fix that. But yeah, I have to. Yep, thank you. If I don't know. Oh my god, this game alt tabs me constantly. Yeah. So we're going to be doing a co-op speedrun of this game. This game allows up to 3 players to be playing at the same time. All 3 characters walking around in the world and interacting with things. And it actually changes the any percent route pretty heavily. Uh, there's a lot of neat little tech that we can do by having multiple players active at the same time. Sorry, I've been muted in Discord. I've been giving an introduction, guys. So yeah, we're live and I think we're ready to go. You ready, Emmy? Okay. I gotta get past the cutscene again. Yeah, I'm muted in like 4 different places just to make things work easier. Okay. I don't think it matters for this level. Yeah. So press Jinx first. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Um, Now, one thing we have to be really careful about, well, one unfortunate thing about this game is it's quite prone to crashing. Uh, Literally, when entering levels, there's just kind of a constant chance that the game might crash. My controller's coming unplugged. What the heck? There we go. Yeah. So if at any time you see that we're stuck on a loading screen for just a little too long, that means our game has crashed. It's about a minute of time loss. But thankfully, it always happens right after a saving screen. So it'll never cost more than a minute or so. Now, a lot of times you might see us. Oh my god, you're kidding me. So you might see us at a lot of points just kind of stop and stand somewhere when we could be casting at something. The AI in this game is pretty brutal. They have a tendency to move slower when you're casting on things, and they move fastest when they are completely off screen. And then drop out here, Emmy. Yep. So a lot of times we will stand in specific spots to manipulate the AI to walk faster. Right there is a trick that only works if you're playing as Hermione. Everyone else just kind of is too big, I guess, to fit through that crack. But yeah, one thing that you saw us do there is the extra player characters can drop in and out of the game at any time they want. Uh, so there's a number of spots where we'll be using that to just save a bunch of time on backtracking. I think the specific for that log tree skip is that Hermione, when she gets knocked over in a different direction. So Harry and Ron should be able to do the trick, but they need a different setup. Ron? This happens sometimes. He's just being rude. Not the greatest World Cup, but that's fine. Yeah. One thing that's probably hard to notice, but that I'll be doing constantly is on each of these cutscenes. Oops. You don't hear Emmy? Oh no. That is a little tricky to fix. Give me a sec. This run will suck, but try talking again.
Yeah, hello?
There you go. Okay.
Oh, cool. Speaking of things,
Yeah, as I said, this is kind of a mess to get all of this working with the restream, so
It's going great so far. Minimal problems.
oh my god, please. This is there we go. Those can be it can save just a little bit of yeah, you can drop these dug bogs out of bounds to kill them faster, which I just missed again. But that first one's a little bit faster if you just kill it. This is a bit of a mess. This is fine.
for a majority of this run, you're going to be playing as Ron.
Yeah.
Right?
So for the most part, character choice doesn't make a ton of difference. You could play this with any character. But there are cards that we're going to be purchasing later into the run that give certain characters certain upgrades. So like we'll be giving Ron stronger spells. So yeah. I'll be choosing Ron for pretty much the entire run just to get those stronger abilities. Emmy's free to choose whatever character she wants. Harry's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit faster, but it makes basically no difference. Yeah, it makes basically no difference across the run. Yeah, this is one of those spots in the run where having multiple characters really starts to show how it's powerful. Because these fires can be a huge pain in a single player run, but when you've got two people and when you're able to cast at the same thing, they go a lot faster.
A lot of things in this game, especially once we get later, only need two people to work as well.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of fences and grates in the game that need two people, and in a regular single player any percent run, we have to sit and wait in front of those for the AI to catch up. But here, we can just both run ahead and get it. My health is not the greatest. This should be fine as long as I don't get hit much. Hold Extremos. Yep. So one neat thing in this game is if you look at the bottom left, there's a little bar that fills up every time we collect blue beans. When that maxes out, we unlock something called Magicus Extremos, which triples our damage against enemies, and it makes a lot of fights significantly easier and significantly faster. So there's one or two more points in the run where you'll see us use that. Hopefully the AI will help us here. We can completely skip this if we stand in a specific spot. And then we can just run through the fire. And then doing that actually forces one of these salamanders to not spawn. Thanks, Tia. I don't want to get that until fire's out. I didn't know if the AI had gotten it or not. They are capable of doing that, but it's a little random.
AI is capable of that.
They're capable of putting out the fire on their own, but yeah.
Yeah, they're capable of playing the game. They just don't.
So this game is broken up into 4 different like main hub worlds. In order to reach Voldemort, we need to collect 26 challenge shields or Triwizard shields across the game, and yeah, most of them are split up amongst these 4 hub worlds. So we'll be getting a good chunk of the exterior block or the Hogwarts exterior shields now, and we'll come back to get one of them later on once we have an extra spell unlocked. There's a neat little trick here. If you stack 2 blocks in a pretty particular way, we can skip needing to move the 3rd one. That should work.
You're supposed to set it up where you have 2 towers, but if you just let launches against the wall, the same thing.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention. This game is almost completely glitchless. All of the glitches that we've found have proven to be incredibly detrimental. They all like soft lock you, prevent you from completing the game. But instead of having like fancy glitches or anything, we have a lot of little like movement tech things that abuse the geometry of the levels that let us speed things up here. So like this level that we're coming up to is usually one of the longer ones in the game. There's a lot of things that we have to move around, but by climbing on some things in some specific places and in specific orders, we can skip like half of the level.
Also, normally, when Guardian Blacks move fairly slowly when you're playing in single player, but the momentum from each player gets added together. So if me and Mylon both hold in one direction, block will move extra fast.
There's a couple of spots in the 3-player run where you can move things so fast that you just like can't control where they go. Yeah, this trick is quite difficult, especially if Hermione decides to interrupt and climb on the block, but
Fortunately, since I stand back, it prevents me from anything.
yeah. Yeah, in single player, that shield is horrible. In co-op, it's not as bad. Yeah, having that second player helps a lot.
Back again, eh? And there are still several shields to collect. Wingardium Leviosa.
Careful! You don't want to fall from this height.
Did you see that?
It exploded!
Cast Aqua Raptor on it. Aqua Raptor.
So this block that we're lifting, normally there's a couple of walls you have to break. And if you see there's a platform to the left of us, you have to climb on top of that to move this block. But if you stand in a very particular spot on the bottom, we're going to have to move this again. You can get the block to... You can reach the block from the ground.
Can you get on there?
Climb up. Yeah. I did not check cards. That's fine.
Back again, nay, and there are still
Drop my
several
first
shields to collect.
Uh-oh.
So
Yep.
I'm super far behind you.
One really serious limitation of co-op is that your character's movements are restricted by the camera. So if a character would go off screen of the camera, it'll just stop you from moving at all. And there's a few places in the run where we actually have to manipulate which characters are active in order to abuse the camera movement. Just to get some neater tricks.
Constant vigilance, he says. How much more constant or vigilant does he want us to be? Ah! Aqua Raptor.
That should work. Nope, that's not good. Okay, he went back. Uh-oh. That should be fine, but...
I'll keep it occupied.
Watch out!
Something that not a lot of people that play this game know is that you can relight those fires with cauldrons.
I knew that.
That is the wrong button. Oh, that's not good. Okay. So I'll need to buy one more card later. I got 2 of the 3 that I needed, but cards in this game are unlocked as you play the game. The more enemies that you kill, the more cards you unlock. So sometimes the game can be a little rude and not quite unlock everything you need. So I got 2 power-up Jinx cards, and there's 1 more card that I need to buy later that'll double the power of my Jinxes. It'll have each button pressed will cast twice instead of just once. I don't think that's gonna work. Yep. Can't imagine HP4 being rude. This game can be quite rude in many ways. Oh no.
I love dog barks, don't you?
Those ones love to block you off. It's particularly nice in single player when all 4 of them can gang up on you.
When am I dropping out here?
Anytime. So if you're familiar with the any percent route, but haven't seen co-op before, you'll notice that we're doing things in a slightly different way here. One of the shields that's skipped in the most recent reroute of HP4 any percent is actually incredibly fast in co-op. We can save close to 30 seconds on movement alone by having 2 characters active. So we use a different route that does not collect mini shields and instead does an extra shield in bathroom.
Personally, I think bathrooms really do the coolest co-op stuff in this one.
This thing usually needs to be pulled twice. There we go.
Like many things in this game, you can just walk this thing.
Sounds like you're clipping out a bit. Might want to move closer to the mic. This might... Okay. We need to be careful about, so when we pull those fences, it's a little bit faster to use both characters, but sometimes you can open it so forcibly that it closes itself. So we're gonna try to avoid having both of us grab those gates, but it's not always feasible.
Yeah, it's typically whoever gets there first pulls it, and the person who's lagging behind goes on through.
Let's see if I can get... Nope. So this cutscene that just played is actually a little unique in this game. You can move around during it. There's only one or two others that are like that. But an interesting result of that is that you can get Ron to appear and walk right up next to that Scroot as the cutscene is still going. It doesn't really save a ton of time. You can't kill it during the cutscene, but it looks cool at the very least. There's our last card. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go fight one more Scroot, and because we have this double Jinx card, it's going to go significantly faster.
The majority of this is just backtracking to the Scroot, and then the fight itself is like...
a second or two long, yeah.
Alright, I guess I'm grabbing that.
This, as far as I'm aware, is the only point in the game where Ron or where a character can go off camera without being stopped. Even in single player, if you get too far away from the AI will sometimes stop you from moving. But for whatever reason, that one just works fine. Okay, he's facing... Nope. I need him to charge. Now, there are 4 parts in this game that are forced to be single player. This is the first one. We have the 3 tasks in Voldemort that only Harry are allowed to complete. This is probably the easiest challenge to complete, but definitely the hardest one to do fast.
So it's the HP2 Glitch List of the tasks.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I collect enough of these red ring, I should mention, after we clear this task, it's also going to give us a number of Triwizard Shields. And by collecting enough rings and by completing the challenge fast enough, I can get 3 shields off of it, which obviously saves a lot of time, as it means I don't have to enter other levels to get extra shields. The requirements for getting golds in these challenges are typically pretty lax. As long as you survive to the end, it's usually pretty easy to get the max number of shields off of each of them. But the second task in particular can be tricky to complete without dying. It's quite brutal.
Yeah, this game has a weird difficulty curve.
For whatever reason, sometimes you can go through these blue rings and it just won't give you the speed boost it normally does. The collision just doesn't quite work out for whatever reason.
And coming up is the prefix bathroom, which, in my opinion, is the coolest level in co-op.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy things we can do with this level.
Are you sure only prefects can use this bathroom? Whoa! Oops. Sorry, Harry.
It went to the fight.
Well, that did it.
Let's find that out.
Let's keep going. We might find a way down to it.
Come on!
What makes this level interesting is the amount of backtracking it usually requires, but the fact that that backtracking can be split across two players speeds the level up immensely.
Yeah.
Have to find a way to move this.
So right after this, normally in a single player run, you'd have to go up and pull down some gates and move some taps. But instead, we're going to go in two different directions at the same time. Hermione is going to follow Harry, and that's going to give us a chance to pull down this stuff. Can you
You gotta back up.
back up more? There you go. Yeah. And so Emmy can go and do all the stuff up here while I wait for the path to be cleared. That gate pull is a little weird. It depends on where the camera is, so.
Come on, you two! Carpe retractum! Give us a hand here, Ron. Alright.
And then after this, I grab that.
And just like that, that's 30 seconds of backtracking saved.
Hurry up!
I don't have Extremos. I should have been paying attention to that. Oh, that's not... Oh, that worked. Okay, okay.
Not having externals, that went pretty well.
Yeah.
Carpe retractum!
Wow, he got me.
Sniper.
I've never seen all three grab the same one.
Okay.
Wow. This game is not being nice.
Beautiful targeting. And the interesting thing about this egg is, in order for the cutscene to play, all three characters have to cast at it for a split second.
Oh, so close. Cool. You can get really stuck there if the AI starts casting at the salamanders, because once they start, they won't stop until they're both dead.
Do I need to drop in?
Um, only if you think I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Which I think I'll be fine. Especially if I grab these.
Well, you're gonna have Earthling spawns, right?
Yeah, they're usually not too bad. I won't make this cycle. Shame.
This game spawned enemies really weirdly, sometimes depending on the player count or how close active players are together, they won't spawn enemies.
Wow.
Okay, sorry.
Come on.
Don't make it.
Yeah, that stretch can be completed without dying, but it's by no means easy. Yeah. Like linebackers.
Honestly, they look small enough. You should be able to punt them. But...
Come on, there was plenty of room. Just go down, get Hermione to move. So the one thing that we're most kind of locked on, the thing that'll take the most time here is getting Hermione to follow. Is it not working now? Okay, I gotta jump down. You can reach that from up there, the block from up on that platform, but it's not terribly consistent. Perfect.
I'm just gonna drop out here then.
And then the extra speed from having a second player on the block makes it a lot more consistent to get this to reach all the way.
Yeah, because even if it cuts out, it maintains momentum, and if it's been going fast, it'll go a little farther. I don't know if you mentioned it when you introduced the game, but I am playing this through parsec.
Yeah.
So there is a second of lag introduced.
Yeah, the first co-op runs of this game were done in person. The two runners who held this record for the longest time are husband and wife. And then a couple of years after they did their run, we stumbled upon Parsec, which is a program for connecting two computers together, and it made this very possible to do online.
Look, I just gotta convince my wife to get into HP4, and done deal.
And of course, it wouldn't take much convincing, right? This game is just—it's so good.
Oh, yeah, it sells itself. Really.
I went into the wrong level. That's fine. Little route deviation, but that's any percent muscle memory taking over.
All right.
Emmy's voice is very quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to get closer. I don't know. It might just be balancing on your end.
Yeah. It should be balanced pretty well against the game, but I don't know how well it's balanced against my voice. I wasn't able to check that.
I think we might be able to grow that plant.
That was something I needed to do before I started the stream and realized too late. Come on, Hermione.
If we grew those vines,
Okay, now this is probably the hardest level in co-op. There's a lot of things in it that make it tricky for single player any percent, and we do something incredibly stupid that makes it much harder and much faster, but looks pretty cool in the end. So we'll see how well this goes.
Well, I suggest you start casting, Ronald.
Vermiculus. Yes.
carpe retractum.
Come on. Oh. Yeah, these guys make this area a huge pain. And there's not a ton we can do to fight against them.
This part actually has some intricate dealing with the drop and drop out mechanics of keeping characters on screen.
To get around this corner. Drop in. Shoot, that didn't make it. You need to get around the corner again, though.
You gotta come closer.
So since Harry's on screen, he'll stay back in that corner until we get everything done. He'll just be nice and kind, but I gotta get rid of these mushrooms so that Emmy can pass. Okay.
Keep moving.
Hurry up. Excellent. Herbivicus.
They're going crazy.
That should distract the mosps a bit. Uh-oh. Okay. We're fine.
Unfurl the leaves.
And even though that was a little... Yeah, even though that was a little sloppy, that saved a ton of time over what the single player route does. What is happening?
I don't know.
Oh, I think I was getting stuck and going back in. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay.
Is that the third time that Hermione has revived?
Shoot. I think that was Harry, but... Oh, Hermione's died 3 times this level?
Yeah, but she's not doing it.
Yeah. Oops. So one thing that we've been doing for this level is collecting these mini shields. If you collect 10 of them in a single level, it'll cause a regular Triwizard Shield to spawn somewhere in the area, or somewhere in the level. And for this particular stage, 9 of them are directly on our path, and the 10th one isn't far out of the way. So we can save a bunch of time by just going a little bit out of our way to get these minis. Wow, Hermione actually really helped there.
No, the first. Wow, we're getting really good aims on this staircase.
Then hold Extremos here. This is easily the most important Extremos in the game, because these guys, there's a ton of them, and they'll just give you a really hard time if you don't kill them quickly. I was trying to get the second one, but it didn't work.
It's in there.
Guardian Leviosa.
It's going to make a big mess.
Professor Sprout's not going to be pleased.
I hope Professor Sprout's good at the reparos.
Blimey!
Carpe retractor. Did you know that Earthlings are protected in some countries?
Protected? The only thing that needs protecting around here is us. Aqua Remucto!
Aqua Rapto.
The gillyweed.
Okay, so now that we have Herbivicus from clearing this level, we can start going back into older stages to get some of the other fast shields.
We have to go back.
Yeah,
and
we
start
got
the level.
one more bathroom shield I gotta grab first. My controller came unplugged again. This one. So yeah, this is the last spot in the run where we can save a pretty solid chunk of time by splitting up the two characters. Oh, there's one more. Yeah, we're both gonna pull down this grate, and then I'm gonna run down while Emmy deals with the stuff up top again. And then
Yeah,
Hermione
amazing.
should follow Harry. Yep. What?
I've never seen that.
Never. No, not yet.
Wait.
Not yet. Wrong one. Keep going. We could have made that work, but this is easier to just keep the route.
Oh, did that not?
Whoops.
Oh my god, it's hitting the pipe.
This is can be a tricky shot even when you have a cooperative camera.
Give us a hand here, Hermione.
That's something else that people probably
No.
don't notice but makes a big impact is because you have two players, a lot of the times for the co-op run, the camera's in a different spot than it would be in a single player run. Drop in. Which can make certain tricks and movement significantly harder. Suddenly you have to fight against your muscle memory.
Can't get under. Harry. Harry. Dropping. Okay.
Haven't seen that before.
Harry's having trouble with stairs. Wait, are we going up or down?
Down.
Oh. I keep mixing up who I am.
I've done that this run too. So that level, normally in an any percent run, a bunch of those bee things will spawn in the level, the vampire mosps, and they cause a whole bunch of trouble. But in co-op, there's a pretty decent chance that they just don't spawn. It's not 100% consistent, but just having two players be there makes it a lot more likely that they don't show up.
Oh my god, stairs are hard.
Wingardium Leviosa!
I don't know what I got stuck on there.
It stung me!
Oh, I didn't even realize those pulled you. I thought you just clipped.
Yeah. Not a problem that comes up terribly often. That'll work. Nice. That is an incredibly difficult shot to make. The camera is very uncooperative there. And multiplayer doesn't make it much better.
You saw there I stood back to prevent roadblocks from spawning while Myron took the shot.
Keep moving.
Why is it not letting me play? Sorry.
Uh-oh. Gotta move closer. There we go. So for that level, in addition to just saving time on backtracking, having two players actually puts the camera in a better position, which lets you cast on that final bridge a little bit sooner. If you're doing that with just one player, you get stuck standing in front of it. You have to wait for the camera to pan around, which can take a while. Now we get the last Herbology Shield.
I joined in early.
I have no clue how that worked, but that saved us time. No clue how we got that clean.
Well, I just preemptively hit it. I'm like adapting to the lag.
We went the wrong way. We're stupid.
Oh my god. Saving time?
Too distracted by doing well. Oh, this isn't good. Okay. So the rock that I just strapped on the hole over there prevents any more of those from spawning. And usually we would hit that right as we enter the level, but oh well. I think I can make this. Nope. I need to get that other one. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Just needed to walk on your head.
Yep. It was planned.
All planned.
No, I had a rod idea. What if you just casted Wingardium Leviosa?
On the block while you're standing on it?
No, just on me.
Oh, yeah. I wish that'd make some tricks very nice. There's a lot of theory crafting that we've done to try to find some bigger sequence breaks that involve, like, placing second characters in certain positions and using them as ramps to get over blocks, but we haven't had any success. This game has a lot of invisible walls, and they are quite tall. That might be too early. It's fine. Okay. Okay. Wrong level. These loading screens are starting to scare me.
Yeah, they're going like a couple milliseconds.
Yeah.
Long, and I'm like, For those who don't know, if the loading screen starts taking too long, you could just tell that the game has crashed.
Yeah. It's possible for the game to randomly crash when, like, changing between certain rooms, but it's pretty unlikely, and we're already past the one screen where it likes to do that. Other than that, the game only crashes when entering a new level, which thankfully is right after the game saves, so it never costs too much time. But yeah, when that pause screen starts lagging just a bit, that's often a clue that the game might crash soon. So hopefully we'll make it through the next 15 minutes of the run without a game crash. We've been lucky so far, but
Would it be an HP4 one? Run?
yeah.
Oh my god.
For reference, my average number of game crashes across 100% speedrun is 2. So 2 minutes are lost just every run because the game decides to crash. Then Extremos here. That guy can be very difficult to beat if you haven't used Extremos. It can take a long time. And then this is the final co-op portion of the run. Everything after this is... Oh, you got in without... Wow.
Yeah. I think that might be faster. I don't know why we...
It is faster, but we both have to get through the card selection screen. We can't advance past...
my way through.
Yeah, we both have to do it.
Yeah.
So in any percent, there's not really any harm in it. In 100%, it can lose a bit of time, but yeah. Yeah, everything after this is the second and third task in Voldemort. So yeah, this is the final co-op portion of the run.
And I drop out here.
Yep. It's a neat little animation skip you can get there by walking down that ledge at a really flat angle. Okay, now this is the level with... Oh, that was fast. Wow. I had just entered, right?
I don't think we got out of the level.
I don't know if we made it out or not. I mean, if it didn't work, then that's only like a minute lost. That's a weird crash. Usually it sits and hangs on that screen for a second before the game says that it was a crash, but wow, that...
We were going too fast. Okay.
There shouldn't be any problems. Like 23. Okay, that's I think the right number. We need 26. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. It's saved. That's all that matters. Yeah, now it's a real HP4 run. Yeah, so this is the level with the greatest possible time loss. There are no health refills across this entire level. And all of the enemies here deal 10 damage. If I die at the very end of a level, it will force me down to only getting 2 shields instead of getting 3, which not only means I've just lost a bunch of time because I've died on the longest level in the game, it also means I have to go somewhere else and get a spare shield. So you can lose like 4 minutes by dying at the end of this level. I haven't died here in a few months, so hopefully we'll be fine, but there's always that chance. Yeah, so the criteria for getting a gold, for getting 3 challenge shields in the first task was to collect a certain number of red rings. Here, it's to kill enough Grindylows. So basically anytime that I see them show up on screen, I'm going to cast at them. Which also helps because they deal damage to you, and that's no fun. It's quite scary. There's a couple of spots in particular that it's really hard to avoid damage.
Now an okay time just to do a quick plug?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So as we know, we are raising money for Trans Lifeline, which is a nonprofit crisis center and agency that helps with all trans individuals in terms of getting the support that they need. We are also only $73 away from $500, which at $500 we're going to have a very special announcement. So get those donations in. Let's see if we can hit 500 before the end of day 1 here. That would be excellent.
That Grindylow that I just hit at the bottom is ridiculously hard to hit, and I have no clue how to do it consistently, but somehow I managed to get one. Yeah, so right there, the game kind of stopped us from progressing, and it did it once earlier as well. In both of those situations, you just need to hit a certain number of Grindylows and it'll let you pass. With that second one in front of the doors, there's 2 spots that Grindylows love to show up in that are almost impossible to get spells to land in. All your spells will just curve and hit one of the pillars to the side. I'm at 80 health right now. There's only one scary part left, so this should be more than fine.
Oh, knock on wood.
If I wanted to, there's a way that I could take this excessively safe and have no risk of dying. Basically no risk of dying, but I think I should be fine. If I take like 5 damage in this first round, then I'll do it, but otherwise I think I'll be fine.
Take it safe and ruin this amazing pace that we have. A couple controller disconnects, a game crash.
Yeah.
World record pace, yes.
World record finishes in like 2 minutes, so
You're saying there's a chance.
there's a if I gold the next 3 splits by 3 minutes apiece, there's a chance.
You just gotta fight Voldemort in the lake.
Yeah, fight Voldemort in the lake and we got it.
Just like send him an email like, hey, Tom, I'm on a time crunch.
Just tell him it's for charity. He'll understand.
I'm sure he'll understand.
Big charity guy. The wizard mass murderers.
Something tells me he wouldn't be the most thrilled about trans rights, considering, like, he's not too thrilled about blood purity, but I don't know.
I'm fine with jumping on the train that Voldemort is generally a bad guy.
Yeah.
So,
That's a hot take. Are you sure you want to put that out there?
you know, I'm full of hot takes, so yeah.
This is going quite well. This is definitely the most difficult part of this stage. It can be hard to get some of those shots in the corner because the spells like to curve and hit the wall, but yep, we got a crash right at the start of the second task. It's completely to be expected.
I'm sure we budgeted it into the estimate.
Yeah, we've got like a 115 estimate. We're on like 108 pace, so I think we'll be fine. 8, okay. Yeah, this game can be incredibly brutal at times. Like, if it decides that it just wants to make you crash 3 times, it can do that, so having a high estimate's pretty helpful for this game.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't be like, wait, hit the estimate within 10 seconds.
I mean, didn't he also go like less than a minute over for, did he go over for HP3? I didn't notice.
Yeah, I think by a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like, if you average them out, like, basically hit it on that.
Yeah, he was within like 5 seconds of average combined, or of estimate combined. That's pretty nice.
I think that's accurate. Yeah, he was seconds over estimate, if that, and then he was seconds under estimate on the first one.
I did start the timer late on both of those. That's fine. Okay, so something that's always present in this game, but is usually hard to notice, is that right when you enter levels and right when the camera makes big changes, your character's movements are like backwards for half a second. This level has camera changes constantly. So every time you see me go around one of these corners, I have to hold like this weird angle on my controller, otherwise Harry just goes in the complete wrong direction. So you'll see me, if you see me hit bushes or anything, like this part's just stupid. It's impossible to control. This is one of those parts where like the jankiness of the controls in this game never really go away. Yeah, so right there I just walked into a hedge as it was popping out of the wall because I turned my control stick back a little bit too soon. $95 health is good.
It's lucky someone decided to bake some sweets and leave them in the hedge.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Cedric. He just needed some snacks while he was running from some hedges and dropped a few. I also love how he's like not being held down at all. That's not gonna work. That sucks. So this is like, these Scroots are big Scroots. You cannot hurt them unless they've been stunned first. So I need to get them to run into this wall before I can start dealing damage. He missed the wall. He'll hit, and then this guy's gonna mess with me. Yep. This will be pretty slow. I'll probably have to 2-cycle this guy. Yeah. This is another section of the game that can just be absolutely brutal. That's bad. I took 90 damage in, like, one fight. That worked. Okay. I'm so glad I got that. Yeah, Cedric just kind of sticks to your head if you stand under him. And you can see, like, the graphics from the other side of the screen just don't render. Okay.
Cedric, get back to the cup. Now!
I'm not leaving you.
Kill the spare.
No! Avada Kedavra!
As you see, this game had a really high cutscene budget.
Most of the cutscenes in this are halfway decent. That one's just like, let's just do a panning shot.
Yeah, we got the voice lines. And it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. Most of the cutscenes that we skip have this, like, they have a pretty neat aesthetic to them, but we can skip them. Why won't we? Why don't we? Yeah. This fight can be quite difficult, especially to do fast. Anyone who's played this game and has made it to the end probably remembers this quite well as just being absolutely monstrous to control. But we've got some decent ways of making it easier. That was a really good first phase.
Mother would be proud. No! I want to see the light leave your eyes. I thought you'd be Avada Kedavra. Very armored.
Especially if you soft lock, yeah. In the third phase of this fight, you can soft lock somewhat easily. And it's not good.
Was that you that soft locked on like world record pace?
Yep, I was in a 3-player co-op run with Flo and Zaz. and I soft locked at the very end of this fight, and we somehow still managed to get world record.
We just call that free time save for next time.
Free time save for next run. Yeah. I have a knack for throwing runs on third task and Voldemort, especially in co-op. I lost like over a minute here on my 2-player run with Nixo. What is happening? That was a sub 3 Voldemort. Oh, wow. Whoops, I have to hit time on the other screen too. So, wow. That was an excellent final fight.
I did the best I've ever done.
Wow. That's I think it's pretty safe to say that's the fastest Voldemort's ever been done. It's difficult to one cycle that final phase and things lined up just right. I feel like it was kind of anticlimactic, but yeah, when that fight goes well, it's fast. Okay, I know we are quite ahead of schedule, but there isn't really anything in this game to show off that'll only take a couple minutes. So,
Let's just upgrade the run to 100.
just what?
Just upgrade the run to 100. Let's just go get everything.
I don't think Rico's gonna appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, that's it for HP4.
Excellent. Well, very, very good job, you two. Did you have any final shout outs or plugs you wanted to do before we moved on to the final run of day one?
Not really. I guess shout outs to Potterthon for also being a Harry Potter marathon. That's it, really, for me.
Shout out to my run tomorrow, I guess. HP2 Glitch List.
Yeah.
Make sure you tune in.
Go watch HP2 Glitch List. That's a really cool run.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you so much, you two, for an excellent run. And we're going to go ahead and transfer over to intermission to get set up for the last run of day one.